Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year 2026. A time where the landscape of K-pop has shifted on its axis and the kings we thought would reign forever in Seoul are making moves in the shadows that no one saw coming. We have watched them grow from ambitious rookies in a garage to diplomatic envoys at the United Nations, surviving enlistments and solo eras. But what happens when the global superstars decide that global actually means leaving home for good? Tonight, we are cracking open the most explosive hush-hush file currently vibrating through the grapevine of the elite circles. The top 7 BTS members secretly applying for US green cards. This isn't just about travel visas, sold-out stadium tours, or temporary stays for recording sessions anymore. This is about permanent residency, about planting deep roots in American soil, and potentially about saying a heartbreaking, silent farewell to South Korea as their primary home. Why now? Why them? Is this the ultimate strategic expansion to conquer the Western market once and for all? Or is it a desperate bid for a normal life away from the suffocating lenses of the dispatch cameras? From the pursuit of unbridled artistic freedom to hidden romances that can only breathe in the Hollywood hills, and the crushing weight of a legacy that demands evil, the reasons are as complicated and varied as the members themselves. We have dug through the speculation, analyzed the real estate purchases, and connected the dots that many were too afraid to see. Who is doing it for love? Who is doing it for business? And the most shocking question that will haunt you until the very end. Who is the one member Howard? Absolute number one. Who is allegedly planning to pack his bags, leave the fame in Korea behind, and never look back. Prepare your hearts, RMY, because we are about to peel back the layers of fame, freedom, and the ultimate price of growing up. The world is watching, and the borders are opening. Are you ready to face the truth? Number 7. J-Hope, the sunshine's western horizon. A dancer's pilgrimage to the source. Let us transport ourselves back to that humid, electric night in Chicago, July 2022, where history wasn't just made. It was rewritten with the aggressive bass lines of More and the frenetic energy of a man possessed by the rhythm. When Jung Ho-seok, known to the world as J-Hope, stood atop the Lollapalooza stage as the first South Korean artist to headline a major US music festival. Something shifted in the tectonic plates of his career. A subtle fracture that has now, in 2026, widened into a clear path toward permanent residency in the United States. This isn't just about a visa. This is about a spiritual return to the mecca of the art form that saved his life. You have to understand the context of his soul to understand this application. Before he was J-Hope of BTS, he was Smile Hoya of the underground dance crew Neuron in Gwangju. A kid who lived and breathed the popping, locking, and boogaloo styles that were born on the concrete corners of Fresno, Los Angeles, and the Bronx. For decades, he has studied these moves from across the Pacific, mimicking the pioneers through pixelated YouTube videos. But now, having conquered the pop world, the artist inside him is starving for the source code. And he knows that to truly master the next evolution of his craft, he cannot just visit the culture, he must live inside it. The green card application filing that insiders are whispering about is categorized likely under the EB-1A. Extraordinary Ability Pathway. A designation reserved for the absolute titans of their fields. And for Hobie, this paperwork is less about immigration and more about liberation. Imagine the scene. It is 2026. His military service is a proud memory. The reunion tour is in the planning stages. But Ho-seok is looking at real estate in the arts district of Los Angeles or perhaps a loft in Brooklyn. Places where the street culture is palpable in the air he breathes. Why? The United States. Because despite his massive fame, America offers him a specific kind of anonymity that Seoul simply cannot provide. In Korea, he is the nation's sunshine, a figure who must perpetually maintain a pristine, joyous image. A burden that we saw him grapple with during the Jack in the Box era where he desperately tried to show his grittier, darker shadows. In the US, amongst the noise and the grit. He can walk into a dance studio in North Hollywood wearing a beanie and oversized sweats, and for a few hours, he isn't a global idol. He is just a dancer in the cypher, sweating it out with the OGs. We must also look at his network, which has become increasingly Western-centric. His collaboration with his childhood hero J. Cole 4 on the Street was not a one-off event. It was a prophecy. That track was a love letter to his roots, but it was filmed in the alleyways of New York, signaling where his heart finds its rhythm. The whispers suggest that his green card application is driven by a desire to set up a permanent production base. A Hope World headquarters on U.S. soil where he can mentor the next generation of dancers and producers without the grueling time differences and logistical nightmares of trans-Pacific travel. It is a strategic move for longevity. He wants to be where the beat drops first. Critics might panic, thinking this means he is abandoning his Korean roots. But look closer at the man. J-Hope has always been the bridge. This residency isn't a goodbye to Korea. It is the construction of a permanent highway between his heritage and his inspiration. He isn't running away from the members. He is scouting the territory for their next conquest. Yet, there is a lingering melancholy in this decision. A realization that the boy from Gwangju has outgrown the nest and needs a bigger sky to fly in. The jack in the box has popped out, and he realizes the box was too small all along. By securing this status in 2026, J-Hope is ensuring that when the inspiration strikes at 3 a.m., he is already in the studio in LA, surrounded by the producers and dancers who challenge him the most. It is a pursuit of artistic discomfort, a refusal to be complacent in his legendary status back home. He wants to be a student again. He wants to be challenged by the pioneers of hip-hop who don't care about his album sales but care about his groove. This green card is his tuition slip for the University of Life that he has always wanted to attend full-time. So, while the fans might tremble at the thought of him packing boxers, rest assured that for number 7, this is about expansion, not extraction. He is planting a flag in the soil of his musical ancestors, ensuring that the rhythm of BTS continues to evolve with the raw, unfiltered authenticity that only the streets of America can provide. It is a bold, scary, and exhilarating step for the dancer who once just dreamed of being heard. And now, he wants to be part of the very ground that creates the sound. Number 6. Suga, the music architect secretly building a throne in the land of Uncle Sam, chasing limitless freedom. Hold your breath, because we are now entering a territory that is darker, deeper, and far more silent, yet deadly. We are talking about Min Yoongi, the genius behind the scenes. The man who once joked about wanting to be reborn as a rock, but in 2026, that rock seems to want to roll far across the Pacific Ocean and settle in the land of the free, the United States. If J-Hope is seeking rhythm, Suga is seeking space. Let us rewind for a moment and recall the monumental moment of the D-Day solo tour in 2023. Did you see the glint in his eyes when he was in America? There was a different, or unleashed, wild, and unburdened. On American stages, he could down whiskey straight from the bottle, he could scream out his August D rage without the censors choking him, and he could be a pure artist without the stiff idol frills. Whispers circulating among Hollywood music executives suggest that Min Yoongi's green card application is not just a rumor, but a high-level business strategy. With his status as a global NBA ambassador, Yoongi spends half his time courtside from Los Angeles to New York, rubbing shoulders with sports legends and heavy-hitting hip-hop producers. The logistics of traveling back and forth between Seoul and LA for 14 hours is not just exhausting, it hampers his explosive creativity. Industry observers believe that Yoongi is applying for permanent residency to establish a Western branch of Genius Lab, a fortress of music, defense where he can produce for Grammy-winning artists without being constrained by time zones. Picture this. The year is 2026. Yoongi owns a hidden mansion in the Hollywood Hills, or perhaps a quiet, minimalist loft on the outskirts of Malibu, a place where he can wake up late, brew coffee without being chased by variety show schedules, and head straight into the studio in shorts to create the world's next hits. America offers something heavily coveted by his introverted soul: anonymity. In Seoul, he is Suga of BTS, who cannot step out the door without a mask and hat. In America, he can be Min, a genius Asian producer respected for his work, not just his face. This is about the transition from a performer to a maestro. Inside, sources say he has no intention of leaving BTS. Absolutely not. But he is preparing the infrastructure for the next decade of this group. He wants to be a sturdy, connecting bridge, ensuring that BTS's music remains relevant in the Western market by being right in the heart of the industry. There is a melancholic yet gallant nuance in this decision. Yoongi realizes that to grow bigger, the pot must be changed. He needs new air, new collaborators, and new challenges that he can only find in the center of the global music world. Is this a sign that he is tired of the Korean camera spotlight? Maybe. Or maybe. This is a genius chess move from a visionary who knows that the future of K-pop is no longer just centered in but has spread globally, and he wants to be the king controlling that chessboard from his new base in the West. For ARMY, imagining Yoongi far from the dorm might be painful. But realize one thing. Min Yoongi never does anything without a solid plan. If he wants that green card, it means he is planning something far bigger than we can imagine. An era where his music will dominate the Billboard charts and not as a guest, but as a host. This is the evolution of the king, and America is his new throne. Number 5. RM. The leader's silent abdication, seeking sanctuary among the masterpieces. If J-Hope is chasing the rhythm and Suga is building a fortress, then the man sitting at number 5 is chasing something far more elusive and far more dangerous for the future of K-pop. He is chasing silence. We are talking about the fearless leader, Kim Na, the man who has carried the weight of a 7-member galaxy and a global army on his shoulders for over a decade. But in 2026, the whispers from the art world suggest that RM is ready to put down the crown of K-pop president to pick up a permanent residency card in the United States. This is not about pop stardom. This is about the survival of Kim Namjoon, the human being. To understand why this green card application is sending shockwaves through the industry, you have to look at his itinerary over the past few years. While other celebrities were hitting the clubs and Gangnam or fashion weeks in Paris, Namjoon was ghosting through the quiet, hallowed halls of the Dia Beacon in New York, the Rothko Chapel in Houston, and the Chinati Foundation in Marfa, Texas. He wasn't just visiting, he was breathing. Insiders close to the curation teams of major American museums have hinted that RM has been quietly inquiring about long-term patronage and even board memberships, positions that require a significant physical presence in the country. The rumor is that he is applying for his green card not as a musician, but under the classification of a cultural diplomat and art patron, a move that is as intellectual as it is heartbreaking. For fans who want him to stay in Seoul, imagine the scene in late 2026. The chaotic noise of the Korean entertainment industry is thousands of miles away. And Namjoon is sitting in a sun-drenched, high-ceilinged brownstone in Brooklyn, or perhaps a secluded mid-century modern home in the Hudson Valley. Surrounded by the nature he worships, he isn't wearing stage makeup. He's wearing sweatpants, drinking coffee, and reading a book without the paranoia of a telephoto lens pointing at his window. In South Korea, he is a national monument, a figure who must be perfect, political, and polite 24/7. But in the vast, indifferent landscapes of America, he is just a tall guy who likes paintings. This desire for the ordinary was the entire thesis of his solo album Indigo and Right Place. Wrong person. But we didn't realize those weren't just albums, they were escape plans. The lyrics were breadcrumbs leading to this very moment. He has spoken openly about the suffocating pressure of being the leader, of feeling like a diplomat when he just wants to be a writer. The US green card offers him the one thing he cannot buy in Korea. The ability to be misunderstood. Or better yet, the ability to be ignored. He wants to walk down the street in Soho and have people walk past him. He wants to sit in a park and not be a headline. This application is a bid for the preservation of his sanity. Sources say he has been looking at properties near major art institutions, places where he can study, perhaps even pursue that master's in fine arts he has hinted at. Hidden away in a university campus where the students are too cool to care about BTS, it is a terrifying prospect for the fandom. Because RM is the anchor. If the anchor moves its base to the other side of the world, what happens to the ship? But for Namjoon, this seems to be a non-negotiable step for his 30s. He has given his youth to the spotlight. Now, he wants to give his adulthood to the canvas. The narrative here is not one of betrayal, but of metamorphosis. He's trying to find a place where RM can fade into the background so Kim Namjoon can finally step into the light. And it seems the only place vast enough to hold his intellect and his need for solitude is the American expanse. He isn't leaving to become an American pop star. He is leaving to become a ghost in a gallery, a patron of the arts, a man who finally belongs to himself. The application is allegedly in the final stages, and if approved, the next time we see RM, it might not be on a stage, but quietly standing next to you at a museum exhibit in New York, looking at a painting, finally at peace, finally home. Number 4. V. The Jazz, Prince of Beverly Hills, a cinematic bid for Hollywood domination. If Namjoon is seeking silence and Yoongi is seeking a fortress, the man occupying our number 4 spot is chasing a dream that flickers in black and white, smelling of old vinyl and expensive cigars. We are turning our lens to Kim, the visual, the baritone, the man we know as V, whose rumored application for a U.S. green card in 2026 feels less like an immigration process and more like the opening scene of a classic film he was born to star in. This is the plot twist that Hollywood has been waiting for, and frankly, so has he. Let's look at the evidence that has been mounting like a crescendo in a jazz standard ever since his solo debut Layover and his deep dive into the world of soul and R&B. Taeyoung has made it painfully clear that his artistic spirit does not live in the fast-paced neon jungle of modern soul. It lives in the smoky jazz clubs of New York and the golden age movie sets of Los Angeles. In 2026, having completed his military service and matured into a man of terrifying elegance, V is reportedly eyeing the EB-1 visa for aliens of extraordinary ability, specifically targeting the acting and performing arts sector. Why? Because the rumors are deafening that major American casting directors have been sliding scripts across tables for years. But the logistical nightmare of working visas has always been a hurdle. With a green card, Kim Taeyoung becomes a local hire in the eyes of the Screen Actors Guild. He isn't just an idol visiting for a cameo. He becomes a contender for the leading man roles that we all know he deserves. Imagine Taeyoung free from the shackles of idol schedules, attending auditions in Burbank, driving a vintage convertible down Sunset Boulevard with the top down, wind blowing through hair that is no longer dyed a crazy color but kept in its natural, classic state. But it's not just about acting. It's about the lifestyle that fuels his soul. We've seen him golfing in Las Vegas with pro athletes. We've seen him mingling with Jon Batiste and Lady Gaga. His social circle has shifted westward. The rumor mill suggests he is looking at properties that are essentially time capsules mid-century, modern estates in Palm Springs, or historic brownstones in the West Village, where he can live out his Bing Crosby fantasies in real time. In Korea, V is watched by millions, analyzed for every blink. In the US, while still famous, there is a reverence for eccentric artists that allows him to be his peculiar, wonderful self without judgment. He can walk into a jazz bar in New Orleans at 2 a.m., pick up a trumpet, and play a set with the locals. And it's just vibes, not a national headline. This green card is his ticket to becoming the global crooner he was meant to be. There is also a whisper of romance in this narrative, not necessarily with a person, but with a feeling. Taeyoung is a romanticist. He chases the sunset. He chases the aesthetic of freedom. Seoul, with its grinding pressure and limited space, feels too small for the cinematic life he visualizes for himself. He wants to host dinner parties with directors and jazz legends. He wants to curate a life that looks like a movie. And the backdrop for that movie is the United States. Insiders claim that he has expressed a deep desire to spend his 30s focusing on texture the texture of film, the texture of music, the texture of life, and he feels that the US offers a wider palette for him to paint with. It is a heartbreaking realization for fans who want him to be the playful Tay-Tay of the dorms forever. But we have to accept that the boy who played the saxophone is now a man who wants to own the club. This application is a declaration of independence. He isn't leaving He is just expanding his stage to include the silver screen and the jazz festival circuit of the West. It is a bold, artistic migration. He is following the footsteps of the legends. Realizing that to be a true icon of the vintage era he loves, he has to be where that era was born. So, if you see a handsome man in a trench coat feeding pigeons in Central Park in late 2026, don't scream, just tip your hat. Because number 4 has finally found his movie set, and he intends to stay until the credits roll. Number 3. Park Jimin. The global pop icon's metamorphosis, shedding the idol skin for American stardom. We are climbing higher up the ladder. The air is getting thinner, and the stakes are getting incredibly personal. Sitting at the coveted number 3 spot is the man who defied gravity, defied gender norms, and defied the history books by becoming the first South Korean soloist to hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot Kasaratus. We are talking about Park Jimin, the captivating siren of beat, whose secret application for a US green card in 2026 is perhaps the most emotionally charged of them all. This isn't just about geography. This is about identity. To understand why Jimin is making this move, you have to peel back the layers of the Moochie image that the world fell in love with. Underneath that sweet smile is a fierce, relentless perfectionist who has tasted blood in the Western market and is no longer satisfied with appetizers. He wants the whole feast. Let's go back to the face. Rain. Nisen Niju-sam went like crazy, skyrocketed to the top of the charts in the US. Something fundamentally changed in Jimin's trajectory. He realized that his sound, his sensual synth-pop aesthetic, resonated deeply with the American pulse, perhaps even more so than the traditional K-pop structure. Fast forward to 2026, post-military discharge. And Jimin is reportedly feeling a sense of artistic claustrophobia in Seoul. Insiders whisper that he has been quietly meeting with top-tier American immigration attorneys, leveraging his historic Billboard achievement to secure an EB-1 visa with the speed of light. But why? Because Jimin wants to be a pop star in the truest sense of the word, in the vein of his idols like Michael Jackson and Usher. And you cannot conquer the global pop sphere via Zoom calls from Young's. He needs to be in the room. He needs to be in the studio sessions in Los Angeles where the magic happens. Spontaneously at 4 a.m., sources say Jimin is exhausted by the packaged nature of the idol industry and craves the raw, collaborative spirit of the American music scene, where he can work with producers who push him out of his comfort zone. We are seeing a Jimin who wants to reinvent himself completely. The rumors suggest he is eyeing a penthouse in New York City, a place that matches his chic, high-fashion energy, or a secluded modern mansion in the Hollywood Hills where he can host the likes of Tommy Brown and the biggest names in Western production. This green card is his declaration that he is ready to stand on his own 2 feet, away from the protective but sometimes stifling umbrella of the Korean entertainment system. There is a deep, reflective sadness here too. Jimin has always been the member most attached to the group dynamic, the one who craved the togetherness. For him to seek a permanent residence across the ocean signals a massive shift in his maturity. He is realizing that to bring the best version of himself back to be, he needs to find out who Park Jimin is when the cameras aren't rolling. And he seems to believe that answer lies in the anonymous crowds of American cities. He wants to walk through Central Park in the fall. He wants to attend fashion galas without a manager holding his hand. He wants to live a life that feeds his art, not just his image. We've seen him thrive in the Western fashion world as an ambassador for Dior and Tiffany & Co. He fits into that elite, global socialite scene as if he was born for it. The green card is simply the logistical key to unlock that door permanently. It's also about privacy. In Korea, the obsession with his personal life is intense and suffocating. In the US, despite the paparazzi, there is a culture of mind your own business that Jimin desperately craves. He wants to be able to date, to make mistakes, to have bad hair days without it becoming a national scandal. This move is a bid for humanity. It is a bid for the right to be an adult. He isn't abandoning his roots, but he is acknowledging that his branches have stretched too far to be contained in one pot. The narrative for number 3 is one of a beautiful, painful growth spurt. He is the butterfly breaking out of the cocoon, and he has decided that his wings are best suited for the winds of the West. If this application goes through, the Jimin we see in 2027 will be a different beast, entirely more confident, more worldly, and dangerously free. He is setting the stage for a solo career that runs parallel to the group, ensuring that his legacy is written in global ink, not just local pencil. It is a scary thought for fans who want to keep him close. But for Jimin, this distance is necessary for his survival as an artist. He is chasing the ghost of perfection, and he has tracked it all the way to America. Number 2. Jin, the moon's permanent landing in Hollywood, a secret empire of luxury, acting, and ultimate freedom. We have reached the penultimate spot, the runner-up in this shocking race for American residency. And if you thought you knew the strategy of BTS, prepare to have your chessboard overturned. At number 2 sits the man who we all assumed would be the eternal guardian of the Seoul Fortress. The eldest brother, the Mat Hyung, who was the first to serve and the first to return. Kim Si, the worldwide handsome himself. But in 2026, the narrative has twisted in a way that no one predicted. While the other members are chasing musical evolution or artistic solitude, insiders report that Jin's application for a US green card is driven by something far more formidable. A massive, silent expansion of his business empire and a belated, explosive pursuit of his original Let's look at the facts. Since his discharge in 2024, Jin has tasted a level of individual freedom that was impossible during the group's peak. He has become a variety show god, a beloved national icon. But sources close to the star suggest that national icon is a title that has started to feel like a cage. Why the US? 2 words, golf and Hollywood. It is an open secret that Jin spends every waking free moment on the green. In Korea, his hobby is constantly interrupted by cameras and crowds. In the United States, specifically in the exclusive, gated communities of Pebble Beach or Florida, he can play 18 holes with PGA professionals and business moguls in total peace. The rumors exploding in the elite country clubs of California are that Jin isn't just buying a house. He is buying a lifestyle. He is reportedly eyeing an estate that rivals the biggest Hollywood stars. A place where he can host his gaming setups and his wine cellars, though. Yes, let's talk about the wine. Jin's passion for traditional alcohol has morphed into a serious business ambition. Industry whispers suggest he is looking to collaborate with Napa Valley Vineyards to launch a global luxury liquor brand, a venture that requires him to be on U.S. soil to oversee operations. This green card application is likely filed under the EB1 category for extraordinary ability. But it could easily be an investor visa given the capital he is moving. But the real bombshell. Acting. For a decade, we have begged for actor Jin. We thought it would happen in a K-drama. But why would the worldwide handsome settle for a local drama when Hollywood agents have been circling him like sharks? In 2026, with the language barrier crumbling and global content surging, Jin is allegedly in talks for roles that require a US presence, not just cameos, but substantial character roles in major streaming series. He wants to use his face not just as a visual, but as a dramatic instrument on the world's biggest stage. There is a genius calculation here. Jin knows that the physical toll of idol choreography cannot last forever. He is pivoting. He is securing a future where he can be an entrepreneur, an actor, and a socialite without the rigid hierarchy of Korean seniority culture weighing him down. In America, he isn't the oldest member who has to take care of everyone. He is just Jin, the funny, handsome millionaire who buys dinner for everyone because he wants to, not because he has to. It's a pursuit of joy. We've seen him happy in his solo vlog content, but there's a different spark when he's abroad. A ski bus unburdened glint in his eye. He wants to be able to stream video games at 3 a.m. LA time. He wants to attend the Oscars, not as a performer, but as a guest. He wants to live the Seokjin life that was put on pause for 15 years. This move to the US is his retirement plan from the idol life and his debut into the legend life. He is signaling that, while he will always be his personal headquarters is moving to a place where the sun shines brighter and the fairways are greener. It is shocking because he feels so domestic, so Korean. But that is exactly why he is number 2, because the one you least suspect is often the one making the biggest moves. Jin is applying for the right to be worldwide permanently. He is ready to trade the Han River for the Pacific Ocean, ensuring that the second chapter of his life is written in English script, with a glass of his own wine in hand and a script for a Marvel movie on the table. Number 1. Jungkook, the Golden McNay's final vanishing act. A heartbreaking farewell to the idol life for a rebirth in the West. We have arrived at the summit, the absolute peak of this mountain of secrets, and the name waiting for us at number 1 is the one that will shatter the hearts of millions into a billion irrecoverable pieces. This is not just a rumor. This is an earthquake in the entertainment world. We are talking about Chun Jungkook, the Golden McNay, the Prince of Pop, the boy who grew up in front of our eyes, and the man who is now allegedly planning the most radical, permanent departure of them all. If the other members are looking for second homes or business expansions, Jungkook is reportedly looking for an exit strategy. The intelligence coming from the deepest, most protected circles of the industry suggest that in 2026, Jungkook's application for a US green card is not just about residency, it is about a total lifestyle migration. A bid to leave South Korea forever as his primary home. Why? Because out of everyone, he is the one who sacrificed the most of his childhood, and now he is the one most desperate to reclaim his adulthood. Let's look at the breadcrumbs. He has been leaving us for years. Remember when he deleted his Instagram with 50 million followers? Remember the late night weaver's lives where he just wanted to do laundry or cook, begging for a sense of normalcy? Jungkook has been screaming for a normal life in the only way he knows how. The immense, crushing weight of being the face of K-pop and Seoul means he cannot walk a single step without causing a riot. But in the United States, specifically during his 7 and Golden promotions, he tasted a different kind of existence. He saw that in America, he could ride his motorcycle down a highway in the desert with nobody chasing him. He could go to a music festival and just be a guy in the crowd. The green card application, likely filed under the highest tier of extraordinary ability, is his golden ticket to anonymity. Sources indicate that Jungkook is not looking for a penthouse in the city like Jimin or a business hub like Jin. He is looking for isolation. Rumors are swirling that he is viewing massive, secluded ranches in Texas or hidden compounds in the remote canyons of Malibu, places where he can build a fortress of solitude, where he can cook, paint, box, and make music without the suffocating pressure of the idol label. This is the forever aspect that terrifies the fandom. Unlike the others who speak of bridging cultures, Jungkook's narrative in 2026 is one of starting over. He has achieved everything a Korean artist can achieve. He has nothing left to prove in Seoul. The military service, which he completed with honor, reportedly gave him a lot of time to think about what he wants, not what the world wants from him. And what he wants is to be Chun Jungkook, the human being. There is a heartbreaking theory that he wants to release music purely as a global pop artist, detaching himself from the K-pop machinery that controls every aspect of an artist's life. By becoming a permanent US resident, he escapes the seniority the dispatch stalkers, and the rigid societal expectations of Korea. He wants to be able to get tattoos without covering them up. He wants to smoke a cigarette without a national apology letter. He wants to love who he wants to love without destroying his career. This is a bid for absolute, unadulterated freedom. The whispers say he is slowly liquidating his assets in Korea. A sign that he doesn't intend to return to his apartment in Trimage or Hanam the Hill. He is packing up his life. The boy who came to Seoul at 15 with big dough, Eyes is now a man of 29 who realizes that the city that made him is also the cage that keeps him. For ARMY, this is the hardest pill to swallow. It feels like a breakup. It feels like we are watching our youngest child leave the nest and move to a different continent, promising to call, but knowing things will never be the same. But we must ask ourselves, doesn't he deserve it? Hasn't he given enough? Number 1 is Jungkook, because his move changes the very definition of BTS. It signals the end of the idol era and the beginning of the legend era, where the members are citizens of the world, scattered but connected. Jungkook's potential departure is the most emotional because it feels final. He isn't running away from BTS. He is running towards himself. He is chasing the sunset in the west, riding his bike into the horizon, finally free, finally just Jungkook. And while we may weep at the thought of an empty soul without him, we can only hope that in the vast lands of America, the golden magnate finally finds the one thing he could never buy with all the fame in the world: peace. And that concludes our deep dive into the top 7 BTS members secretly applying for green cards in 2026. The landscape of K-pop is shifting, and the kings are moving their thrones. Whether this is a goodbye or a new beginning, one thing is certain: the world is their stage. And they are no longer just visiting, they are moving in. Would you like me to generate a summary table of their rumored locations and reasons? Or perhaps draft a fan reaction simulation to this news?